Welcome to this unit of the Massimo Line Open Course. I'm Eleonora Foschi, Assistant Professor at the Department of Management, Bologna University, and it's my pleasure to present the last but not least business experience we would like to share within the course. It's my pleasure to present the Sacchital group, and I'm here with the Sales and Marketing Manager of the group, Paola Cerri. Welcome, Paola.
Ciao, Eleonora. Thank you for inviting us. It's a pleasure to be here today with you.
Thank you, Paola, and thank you for accepting our invitation.
Thank you.
So, let's start. Paola, can you describe the group and the value proposition of Sacchital?
Thank you. The Sacchital was founded in 1945 by my grandfather, Valentino Paleari, a guy who died at the age of 105 and worked at the age of 103. So he was really passionate about the job, and this passion has now been given to all the family that still works in the company. We are specialized in the packaging, flexible packaging, and at first we made the pre-form bags for the food industry, and the company name at the beginning was Sacchetificio Italiano originally. Now it has been contracted because we moved from the production of pre-form bags to the production of reels that we still do today. And the company is located in Pregnana Milanese, near Milano, and it accounts 5 factories concentrated in the north of Italy. And they are located in the provinces of Milan, Bergamo, and Turin. And we operate on a worldwide basis, and about 50% of our turnover comes from export abroad. Our production is concentrated in the north of Italy, and this represents a competitive advantage in terms of production efficiency and concrete backup solutions that we can offer to all our customers. Paper has always been in our DNA. So we started in 1945 making paper bags, and we still do 50% of our turnover with paper. So we have been working with paper for over 75 years, and it's a material that we really love to work and requires a special know-how and a special experience. And in the 80s and the 90s, the situation was not the same as today, and the plastic multinationals offered the customers some solutions in plastic, and paper remained a sort of niche solution. Then we are seeing now a new wave, a green wave, where paper is gaining more and more importance today. And we do not only manufacture paper, of course, we also use plastic films and aluminum too. So we have a full range of products today.
So, thank you, Paola, for this introduction. If I understood well, Sacchital does not work with a single material, not only paper, also other type of materials, and is not specialized on a specific sector. Can you focus the attention on this point?
Yeah, you're right. We do not manufacture just one product, but we use all raw materials. For what concerns the sector, 85% of our company works in the food sector, and the remaining 15% is divided between pharmaceuticals and cosmetics. And regarding the materials, we are one of the few Italian and foreign companies that have not specialized in terms of specific material or industry. We work with all the available materials today, and we also consider that design is very crucial. We have evolved in reducing thicknesses for commercial reasons, because you know that the thinner and the lighter the material is, the cheaper it is. So it's important also from the economic point of view. And today this choice of going to thin materials is motivated by the fact that using less material makes the product easily recyclable. So we can boast the use of very light materials outside the industry standards to the thickness of 6 or 9 microns, which is really extreme.
So Sacchital is trying to manage many existing challenges, from the design, or better, the eco-design of the packaging, to the use of alternative materials, and so on. But why have you decided to invest in compostable plastics? And were the decision driven by market needs or other reasons?
You know, in the last couple of years, the awareness of the environment has increased, also thanks to the contribution given by Greta Thunberg on one side and the 13432 legislation. So we tried to expand the number of possibilities by introducing biopolymers, and we made lots of investments and devoted time to sustainable solutions because we understood that the market was responding to this new offer. So the change was not easy at all, because it involved the processing of materials that are completely different compared with the old solutions available with conventional plastics. So just to make you an example, bioplastics are characterized by different temperature behavior than the plastic of fossil origin. So they have, for example, shorter softening times because they begin to soften already at 50 or 60 degrees, and therefore they go through the packaging machines and the risk is they melt completely on the jaws, on the sealing jaws. So all these factors have to be taken into account if you want to develop a new packaging solution. And in the food sector, the proposal of an innovative material could not ignore the maintenance of the shelf life of the contained product too. So many issues to be considered and to be solved. Everyone is interested in the environment, but no customer of ours would ever have proposed a compostable material if we had not guaranteed the barriers that you need to prevent and to keep the shelf life. So the new materials should have had the same characteristics as a traditional material, such as the machinability and the sealing, and also the mechanical resistance. So it was a real challenge.
Thank you, Paola. Quite interesting to understand that this innovative material needs to be competitive with existing packaging solutions that are made of conventional plastics, paper, and are on the market for a long time. But so I understood that the barrier is crucial for a compostable packaging. But how have you guaranteed both compostability and food quality?
That's a good question, really, because the main difficulty we encountered at the beginning was to provide this barrier property to the materials we developed, and we tested the printing and coupling of this material about 10 years ago, and we managed to do it quite well. And when I think at that time, I realized we have been real pioneers. The market at that time appreciated the solution, but probably judged it was too early to implement it. And another challenge was to use the right kind of ink. We needed to use the compostable inks instead of those usually used to print on fossil-based plastic, and also to aluminum, and not to compromise the compostability of the material itself. So we experienced several technical problems when placing the barrier to the material, and these technical problems were addressed by collaborating with other partners.
How many players have been involved in this project, and which was their role in commercializing the first even compostable packaging for food?
You know, there were, and there still are, involved in this project 5 companies. And we all took part in the pipeline of producing food packaging. At the upstream stage of the chain, we find Novamont, an international leader in bioplastic sector and the development of biochemicals and bioproducts. And then there is Ticinoplast, the leader in blown polyethylene film extrusion. And then the chain included size-coated film, who's the provider of a high barrier solution based on a unique coating technology. And then, of course, there is Sacchital. And Sacchital Group, with our paper compost HB, this is the brand name we created for marketing this product. And paper compost is based on paper and metallized biopolymer. It's certified OK compost by TUV Austria and also by BPI for the US market. So we can export paper compost anywhere in the world. And at the end of the chain, we find the IMA Group, that's the manufacturer of the packaging machine. And we decided to work in the supply chain because we could have designed something innovative on our own, that's true. But we also wanted this new specification, this new packaging, to work on the packaging machine as the best performance of machinability, sealing, and speed. So collaboration was necessary, I would say inevitable. And everyone made their own investments, aware that the value would be created for the entire supply chain and that each actor would increase its skill in the field. So that was the main achievement we reached.
So, Paola, 5 players, industrial players, suppliers, work together to create this innovative solution. And if I speak from my perspective, a research perspective, this is what we call value network, where stakeholders work together to co-create value. And this is the spirit of innovation. And what is your feeling about this concept?
You are fully right, and I fully agree with you, because you cannot innovate in a radical manner if you don't change the business as usual paradigm. If you want to make things as you always did, you will never create innovation. You have to go a little bit further and beyond. So each company in this project managed to introduce their added value. And the creation of this new supply chain was, in a certain way, innovation before innovation. We created a new way to work together before creating the new specification and the new packaging itself. So on a general perspective, working in a supply chain is not easy because it requires opening up and sharing the skills. But the need to work together was evident. We were inspired by the possibility of creating something new by pooling knowledge and creating a value for the entire supply chain, naturally working together. So there were no discussions within the supply chain. That was amazing, but it really happened. No discussion regarding the economic feasibility of the project and how to appropriate the value created. Everyone in the network was aware of the importance of taking this path and convinced that this was the right journey to take, moving towards developing sustainable materials. And this is what we did and we achieved. And we are still working together, and that's the good thing.
And 2 years after the launch of the market, are the results satisfactory?
Yes, the marketing is reacting quite well. And however, much is needed in terms of legislation, especially at the European level. It's crucial to harmonize and overcome the fragmentation legislation still characterizing European countries, unfortunately. So more efforts are now needed to open the market, and all these efforts are needed from the European authorities. They should play their role, I think. And at the same time, the industry, on the other side, must accelerate the achievement of economies of scale. And it could be ensured by the increase in the demand, and it will foster more affordable prices, which is also important too. And last but not least, there's an urgent need to inform the consumer about the composition of the packaging and raise the awareness about the implications of the end of their life. The customers should be able to distinguish each pack and appreciate the packaging in all the differences and characteristics, and as well understand the advantages in terms of recyclability. So it's a matter of teaching customers and let them know they are doing good for the environment and how important their choices can be when they go to the supermarket and make a decision of buying or not buying some products.
Based on your experience, which are the recommendations or suggestions you would like to share with the students of the course?
You know, this is a good question because we love working with students and we would like them to be more integrated in the activity we do daily. And I know the packaging field has always been a little underrated and not very seductive for the new generations. Today we can assist to a real transition with innovation at the heart. Everyone knows what a bottle is. I think nobody knows what a flexible packaging is, even though we use it daily. So it's necessary to communicate the extent of the innovation. And for this purpose, I think that a structured sales force with all the necessary knowledge, as well as laboratory technicians and any kind of operators, are very much needed. So new, young, dynamic workforce is really important for our field to thrive. And so they are all welcome.
Yeah, we hope that your speech is inspiring the students who are joining this course in taking this journey toward the innovative packaging industry.
I hope so, really.
Thank you, Paola, for sharing this valuable experience about Sacchital Group, our course, but also how Sacchital and the other Italian companies are pushing for creating a new way of doing business that is crucial to push and accelerate innovation. Thank you again, and all the best for the future.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me here. It was really a pleasure. And I hope your students will appreciate what we are doing. And our doors are open, so you will always be welcome to come, to join us, and to enjoy this trip.
We hope. Thank you very much, Paola.
Thank you.